Hey, yeah, we're live. We had a little technical difficulty, but we're back A to Z, December 7th, chopping up everything we could talk about to unite humanity, Americans, black people, white people. Just last week we had a headbanger talking about language. What's good
Yeah,
today,
man.
Ali?
Hey, man, life is so good right now, man. Just sitting here loving it, seeing people starting to unite, seeing people, even though there's a lot of friction out here, but there's still pockets of people that are trying to unite and see uh, see the goodness in humanity and the world. Through all this thickness of hate and discontent and different groups of evilness. What are those?
Yeah,
What are those called? The Fin? Is that the Fin?
the fan.
I forgot what it's called. What they was calling the demons, uh, but it's a different word for it. Yeah, whatever. We
All
ain't
right.
gonna worry about that.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. But A to Z, we're talking about any kind of topic, that's just near and dear to our heart. But the purpose is always to bring us together. And with that being said, we got a guest today, a second guest on the show. It's a good friend of yours, Jay. I've never
Yeah.
met him, so we're gonna meet him live today on the screen. So let's bring Jay in. We're gonna welcome him, and you can introduce him, Ali, if you like, man.
Well, this is a good friend of mine. We did a lot of talking. I'm gonna let him tell us what he wants us to know about himself. But I do know he's into Zen type of thing because we were doing the fighting style. He's into other fighting styles too, as far as
Okay.
thing. But we were in the fighting style of Tai Chi, and the dude is freaking awesome. So go ahead, Jay. You go ahead and let us know who you are.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I'm Jay. Originally from Connecticut, moved around a bunch. Now I'm here in Vegas. Just kind of working and chilling. Like as I said, you know, I'm still a lot of martial arts, a lot of different spiritual paths, a lot of just everything that can get together. And I'm a guy who has a lot of stuff to say about stuff. So I think that's why Ali, was picking my brain. Now I'm here.
Oh, cool, man. Sounds like your audio is fading in and out. Were you able to hear him clearly, Ali, on your end?
I hear the same thing. It's fading in and out a little bit. Maybe if
Okay.
we
Oh yeah, let me kill the music. Let me kill the background music. Let's see. Yeah, we had yeah, that's a new track that we made on AI. I like it, man.
Oh,
It's coming through.
nice.
But yeah, man, let's glad to have you here, man. Sounds like you're a dude after my own heart. A little Tai Chi, a little martial arts. I dabble in that. I just became a certified instructor for Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention, helping people with that. So it's certainly a mild level, Soon style Tai Chi. But I
Okay.
love to hear some of your philosophy. How long have you been practicing Tai Chi?
Oh man, I fell off. I'm not gonna lie. Can you guys still hear me, or am I in and out?
Yeah, sound like you're much better now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I fell off for a little bit. So I was doing it for like a year and change though.
Okay.
And I had done previous styles. I was doing kind of a northern style kung fu, which fit my body type. I'm kind of lanky, so it was like a lot of long reaching hits. I had done Wing Chun, I had done capoeira, I'd done all these other things, and then I had stumbled across this style, which felt like it was out of a movie. It felt like the instructor showed me how it was done, and the way I described it was like getting jumped by one person. You know what I mean?
Jay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
you
cool, man. That's
all
cool. Do you guys fight at the same gym? You train at the same gym? I know Ali dabbled in a little martial arts yourself.
Well, no, we was
we were at the park.
yeah, out at
We
the
were
park.
outside all. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Well, welcome to have you here, man. Ali and I, we chop it up. We met what 7, 8, I don't know, maybe like 8, 10 years ago now, something like that, and just kind of hit it off. Two
Nice.
fellow Marines talking about different subject matter from politics to metaphysics to mind, body, love,
Mhm.
everything. And so I love to hear your topics on some of the things we discussed last week. We went real hard on language and how it can be an entrapment in and of itself,
Okay.
and it can also divide people.
Sure.
Is that something you dabble in a little bit?
Mhm.
Talking, etymology, language.
Yeah. I think etymology is important. I think the origins of things in general are important, and I think it's interesting to see how the way we assign meaning to things shapes our world. You know what I mean? And even the way we reassign meaning, because we'll take something that meant one thing back then and just flip it, and now it's a major part of our society. So yeah, I like it. It's not like my wheelhouse, but I do like it. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, so I put up a topic today. I don't know. Did you guys catch that Netflix thing on Diddy?
Oh man, I ain't watching that.
I-
Was it good though? Did you see it?
No, I didn't watch it at all. But my wife and I, she kind of filled me in on a lot of it. The stuff that's going on. But I think it's always an interesting topic, just in and of itself, because one of the major questions she walked away with was, how in the hell did he get away with so much? You know,
Right.
and when you start digging
Yeah.
into that kind of topic, I think a
Mhm.
lot of it is always follow the money, and being in
Yeah.
the music industry, the film industry, and all the people that's involved in that. You start following that money trail, you start uncovering a lot of things.
Yeah, this may take us off of it a little bit, at least for those who have seen the video. But when you follow the actual news of it, uh, the way they tried to say, the way they tried to bring it up is like he's molesting people, or he you know, drugging people to get them to do whatever it was. But when you watch all of the people that talked about it, maybe not so much on the movie, but everybody knew what happened past a certain time. So if you stay past 12 o'clock or whatever time it was, you knew the party was going to a different direction.
I'll get caught
So
with
if
that
you
shoe off
stay
after midnight. You know what I mean?
exactly. So if you stay past that time, you got to be willing to take responsibility. I feel you got to be willing to take responsibility of what happens. Now, there wasn't any that I saw. There wasn't any what's pedophilia involved other than him having sex with Justin Bieber, but Justin Bieber's parents gave him to him. Usher's parents gave him to him because they had to sign contracts. You know what I mean? And they were of legal age to be fucked by a dude. And that I guess, but nothing illegal about that. And homosexuality is a what's that? A taboo. It's a taboo. It's not illegal. You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
So,
And that
like,
certainly was one of the major arguments, like by the defense, that if you have certain fetishes or whatever, it's not necessarily illegal. And a lot of the people were adults, but you can argue, like, I guess they weren't consenting if they were drugged. But this documentary popped off, supposedly filmed by him prior to him going to jail, and he didn't pay the videographer, and 50 Cent took it on and published it. Why? I don't know. Why he would take that on and publish it? If it's on his own will, or if he was made to be the name and the face of the person who's putting it out. And so that's kind of what the angle that it took. And from there, of course, there's a lot of extortion. A lot of the crime. Shot someone in the club, got away with it. Someone else took the fall. Shine, the rapper, as y'all know, took the fall for that.
I remember that.
So definitely got a lot of lot of crazy stuff. Just like money is power, man. In that case, I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Jay? You have any thoughts on that?
I think he's a villain, man. I think he's almost a cartoonish, to be honest. I think he definitely was probably luring people in with promises of fame, and there's money, and it's a lifestyle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a piece of fame, and I'm sure a lot of people came to those parties under that assumption that they'd be a part of that. I'm sure some people went to those parties, found out what they were, and got out of there, and I'm sure some people stayed, and then you end up with your J-Los, you know what I mean? And that's how you kind of end up with that level of fame. People who did accept the freak offs and the responsibility of their own actions. But ultimately, I think he was drugging people and fucking them, and I think he should be in jail for that, because it doesn't matter if you went over to have sex, drugging people and fucking them, you're raping people. So that's my take.
That's an interesting take, because that is in strict conflict with what I'm thinking. But it's okay. I mean, I welcome that. So I'm going to ask you a question, just real quick, to throw this idea up against, and I stated it earlier. If you know that at a specific time you're standing on a bridge, and at a specific time this bridge is going to be taken from you, you're going to either fall on some pillows, you're going to fall in some lava, you're going to fall in some water. Some of this water is going to have crocodiles in it. Some of this water is going to have just all alcohol. You're going to get drunk and have alcohol poison in it, and you stay on that bridge until that time, and you fall. You don't think that those people have to take responsibility for it, especially if they know that this is what's going on at the freak offs? And I'm bringing this into an extreme part of where you have Pastor T.D. Jakes going to the freak offs. His excuse is, I'm going to where the sinners are. But he's staying past that time where that stuff happens. You see what I mean? So
that's what he said, bro. That's terrible. Okay.
But isn't there somewhere, like, if he's like, oh, this is where they put the liquor at, I mean, this is what they put the drugs in there because everybody knows about it. Let me go ahead and drink this. Oh my God, he's in my butt. You know what I mean? There's got to be something where they take responsibility for it and then not be considered a rape. I think. Go ahead. I'm ready to hear what you got to say.
No, I think there are others. You get your Orlando Browns, your Ray J's. I think Usher brought Justin Bieber to P. Diddy. You know what I mean? So you do have those people who accept it, who are very much a part of it, and I think they should go. You know what I mean? Like, if you're there being an accessory to all of these crimes, then you're responsible, and whether or not you built your empire off of it, good for you for being famous, but like, you're still part of the problem. In regards to everything else, like, if I went to a party and they said past this time you might get drugged and fucked in the butt, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? But if they're like, hey, this is, if you're into that, if my whole thing is, they call it consensual non-consent. If my whole thing is like, I like being drugged and fucked in the butt, then I might stay. So it depends on what you're into, and that's, again, probably how you get Orlando Brown. But it really depends on what you're about, and I think if everyone is agreeing, if it's all consensual, I don't see a problem with the freak offs. But it doesn't sound like it was. It sounds like people got bamboozled into, being covered in baby oil and trying to get away from.
Yeah, it sounds like they might have been drugged. Let's say they knew that time, but what if they got drugged prior to the time going down, and now you don't even have the wherewithal to leave? You've already been drugged. You got what's going down at noon. You like, I'm at midnight. You're thinking, okay, I'm gonna get out of here at 11:30, but you already been slipped the Mickey. You already been given the roofie. Now you can't even make that decision on your own to get out of there. So, it's certainly some gray areas in terms of where people's cognitive function was at the time. But at the same time, you could also not even put yourself in that situation to begin with and just not stay away. And TD Jakes, that's a lame ass excuse. I mean, you're a pastor, bro. Surely there's sinners you can save somewhere else. Like, supposedly the world is full of them. And you just gotta happen to be at the freak off. Sound like you're trying to get a little freaky yourself, if you ask me.
Right. Well, I gotta ask too, though. I mean, now, mind you, you did bring up a point to where I have to concede to, and that is where you said that they could have been slipped the Mickey before time. They could have been, drugged before time, and then it just slipped over to that. But at the same time, could it be still an idea of the media spinning it so hardcore and people's belief in the media making it something that it's really not like it is? And I'm going to say this, for as far as, it's not in defense. This is not in defense of this person, okay? Just let it be known what I'm about to say is not in defense of this person. But the media spun the R. Kelly thing for pedophilia so hard that everybody thought that he was a pedophile, and he never went to jail, never got charged for pedophilia. He got charged for the Mann Act, and that's bringing people from one city to another for the acts of sexual activity. You know, he never got charged for Aaliyah because Aaliyah was consensual, and her parents agreed to it, and it was in a state where that age was legal. You see what I mean? So it's like they spin it so hard to where people actually believe, oh, yeah, he is a pedophile, but he never got charged for it. You see what I mean? So maybe some of this stuff is a bend. I'm not defending, but just to open people's minds a little bit, maybe some of the stuff is a bend to the reality, you know. And again, when you dropped off, Jay, I did say I had to concede to the fact that people were there. They could have been manipulated before that time. You know what I mean? Before the 10 o'clock hour or whatever hour. So
yeah, for sure. And that's why it's very difficult to like really tease out what happens in these situations unless you're really there. And the media, as we know, the media tries to crucify people in a way to assassinate their character, and that's a way to discredit and also steer people in a way which they want people to go. And we already know, at least from my experience with the media, that these things like pedophilia, homosexuality, you know, I'm not saying I'm for or against any of it. Deviant sexual acts, all these types of things are perpetuated by the media in order to kind of implant it in the mind to make these things more normalized. And we can see, so for example, I'm watching this show called Gen 5. It's a spinoff of the show with Homelander and all of those secret heroes. But the things that they put in these types of shows that are now, sometimes they're like made for 16-year-olds. A lot of this stuff is to just plant seeds in the mind to make these things seem more normal. And as long as we're debating about it, that just keeps it in the public arena, so that over time we become desensitized to these types of things.
Hey, I'm gonna have to say this. I know we're not cutting anything out. We don't do that. That's not what we do. But I need some clarification on this, bro, because you said it. You said okay, you're not. Yeah, yes, sir. You said I'm not for or against necessarily any of this, but you did bring up pedophilia. So,
okay, got it.
You know.
Okay. So you want me to clarify? No, I'm not. What I'm saying
pedophilia.
Let me clarify what I'm saying. I'm not for pedophilia. I guess what the point I'm trying to make is, obviously I'm not for pedophilia, bro. I'm just trying to say.
I know.
Yeah, for sure. You want me to clarify? Yeah. I'm just trying to say, like, for the sake of conversation, I'm not trying to say that I'm not taking a stance right here. I'm just making a point. Gotcha. I'm just trying to make a point that the media itself tries to put these different topics out there so that we can debate about them. But the whole plan of it is just to normalize them because that's what they're really into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, this might be dropping. Go ahead. What you gonna say, Jay?
I was gonna say I think The Boys does a really good job of that. I think you see because it's Gen V.
Boys and Gen V.
A lot of the yeah, and you see them doing deviant sexual acts, and I don't know if so much them trying to normalize it as it is them pointing out that like these are what these celebrities are doing. This is what the media is doing because if you watch, they're the bad guys. These are the people who are kind of ruining things and manipulating things. And I think it's just very much in your face. There is no subtext about who's the bad guy. To find out that all these hardcore right wingers are watching the show and then realizing that they're being portrayed as a bad guy after 4 seasons is like, it's baffling to me because they've been the bad guys since the first season. So I think that's what they're doing, the normalizing it. I think they might be normalizing the nudity. There's a lot of full frontal, there's a lot of dick and balls in that show. And I think they're normalizing the acts, but the acts I think they're villainizing for the sake of manipulating.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard in that show to like. There's a quote from even Diddy saying in this documentary. You can see it in the trailer. Like some of the things that's going on. There's good guys and there's bad guys. You have to choose which side you're on, and that was kind of him justifying some of the things that he did. But in this show, it's very difficult to tell which side is quote unquote the good side or the bad side, because it kind of in one scene you got this quote unquote superheroes who are defending America, and then they turn out to be the bad guys, and they're fighting against the people who are the superheroes, and then the superheroes are making them to be the bad guys. And I think a lot of that is just to create confusion and in the minds of the people, because it makes it very difficult when we try to judge things for good or bad. I don't think that's necessarily the best way to judge whether something is something you should engage in or not, if you just use those labels, good or bad. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got a question then, because we all three of us,
right?
I believe, because I've had conversations with both of you, believe that the media is controlled by a specific group of people. Now, with this media control, it is a language. It is a language. It's a programming that they use through the media. Do you feel, of course we feel, I feel it. So, but do you feel that all the stuff that is being portrayed in the media right now, exactly what you just said about how there's a lot of dick and balls in the show, that so it's supposed to be like, it could be normalized in the form of a nudist colony. You know, you're looking at it, it's natural, it's okay. But then there's, like you said, lewd acts that are being done. So they're pairing two different worlds. You know, there was something that Kanye said that brought a investigative journalist video that showed that the people who run the media are forcing a lot of what's it? It's like they're pushing porn, they're pushing pedophilia, they're pushing things that are bad for the Americas, because a lot of the stuff isn't going other places. You know,
for sure.
And I know he got in trouble for saying that it was Jews or Zionists or whoever those people are. What do you think their purpose, beside destruction and destroying America? Like, how do you think that? I don't care how you.
What's the end game of it?
Talk about it. End game, purpose. If you like it, who is it targeting? I don't give a fuck. Talk about it. Is it the Jews? Is it freaking just white America? Is it Black America that's allowing it? Is it what's talk about it?
You want to jump on it, Jay? I got something to say about it. Unless you want to jump on it.
Yeah, no, sure. So I think I mean, I do understand that. I think it's Zionist, more so because I've known a bunch of Jewish people my whole life, and the distinct separation between, you know, your typical Jew and like a Zionist. It's a whole different ballgame with them. I do think Zionists are a massive part of the problem. I don't know if they're the ones pushing porn, but I guess, you know, they are involved heavily in the media. So I think as far as the porn aspect goes, we just have access to it at all times. And it doesn't matter what you're scrolling through. It doesn't matter where you're going. It's just a nonstop. You're just getting hit with ass all day, every day. I don't know what the end game is there. I think we do know that, porn addiction kind of messes up your brain and how you function in life, and addictions of any kind kind of mess up your cognition. It screws with everything. So I don't know who's really behind the porn aspect, but I think the nonstop access to it is the problem, to be honest.
Well, I would say, bro, is if you look at, like, when we started the topic initially, we said let's follow the money, and you can always get a better clue of who's behind what and what's happening when you start to follow the money trail. And those industries, like we talked, music industry, TV industry, pornography industry, they're all funded by certain groups of people, and we can call them international bankers, for lack of a better way to describe them. And you can take this all the way back to like Germany. They said that Hitler was going up against the bankers at this time, and one of the major things that he did was get rid of pornography, which was being funded by the same groups. And these same groups who funded the wars back then are also still funding things now, which is the media. And I think they said back in those times, they own 50% of the media, the same groups. And we're talking early 1900s, 1930s, 1920s. Those same groups, those same bankers own the majority of the media in that company, Germany, and they also started the propaganda to get the war popping off. And if we continue to follow that same money trail, it's the same bankers that are continuing to fund it now and through our media. And, you could call the groups whatever you want to call them, but the money speaks in and of itself. And the one thing to kind of point out, Ali, you sent me this quote last week where this guy was talking about this quote, and he said, we get this quote wrong. We say that blood is thicker than water. But he said the most accurate way to describe this quote, and I believe he was of Jewish origin.
Yes, he was.
And he said that the way they usually use this term is to say the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And when you think about that, and you think about gangsters, they always say blood in, blood out.
Mm-hmm.
That's because when you go against them, you end up dead. And when they're talking about a covenant, the covenant being the blood of the covenant being thicker than the blood of water, these people are united through covenant. So it's more than just a specific group of people who are united by bloodline. It's people who are united who've taken the covenant. And we know that the people who enter into these secret societies or these organizations, and we can call these organizations things like major labels, major music producers, major film producers, major school people who run schools and governmental organizations. They're in bed with these people through the covenants that they've taken. And that's why it's hard to really get at who's going on, because they're hidden behind the covenant, and they're not going to say it because they end up dead. And we know that. So that's really what's going on, is people who have funded the thing, and they let people into this by taking oaths and certain pledges to keep it a secret. But it extends beyond just bloodlines. They've been grafted into the bloodline through the covenant, and that makes them family or familiar or rock la familia, like some people would say. It makes them part of the family through the covenant that they've taken, and that becomes thicker than the water of the womb, which is why you oftentimes see these people. It's said that they will murder their family to keep the covenant. How many times have we heard that certain celebrities, certain people may have been responsible for sacrificing their own family in order to stay in these groups? So that I think explains a lot of what's going on. And then as far as the ultimate plan of what it is, I think it's no bigger than just to divide the people. And that's really all it is about, dividing the people, whether it's internally in their own consciousness or whether it's physically from each other. At the end of the day, as long as you stay divided against the people who are doing the control, and that's winning for them. if we could keep your attention diverted from us who really pulling the puppet strings, we're winning. And I think it's a lot of that. Go for it.
Can I add to that?
No,
Go for it.
please.
I yeah, to build off of that, I think we're having a real Tower of Babel moment. I think when you look at social media in general, here we all are talking to each other, exposing each other to our ways, our languages, our customs. When everybody switched over from TikTok to Red Note, I think it's called Red Note, Red Book, the Chinese TikTok, we were over there having conversations about, like, you know, how life works. What's your country actually like? What's the propaganda? What's the truth behind it? And we're all exchanging all these things. And we're realizing we're a lot more alike. And I think the powers that be are looking at that and saying we have to keep them divided. We cannot let them join up and realize that they're all the same people, because if that happens, it's a huge problem. So I think
Yes.
You're right as far as the division goes, and making sure that they're just staying on our ass about it, because we have the tools now to rise up together, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to agree, and I want to jump into something else that's right with that in the same lines.
That's all I got on that.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay. Yes, sir.
When we look at it, it's the control aspect, the controlling the people. But I also believe at the same time, when it comes to the pornography part of it, when it comes to the promiscuity part of it, that's the linchpin. But there's other things that are connected to that is a population control device. Because first you got what you said, the cognition of people viewing porn, how it changes their mind. Then you got, and like, it changes their mind, it changes them socially. People masturbate sometimes, I guess, when they watch porn. It gives them a little distance from them. Then you got people who want to involve themselves more sexually from that, but then they put Planned Parenthood out there, so it makes them able to, or wanting to, have abortions. You know what I mean? So with them wanting, there's all those other things that jump in that allow people to think negative towards something that is so beautiful, and that's the creation of life.
So what? Just to make sure I'm understanding, you're saying the whole pornography agenda is largely to help, I guess, decrease the population and things like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that it's not for what we think it's for. It's hidden. It is to make to depopulate the earth, because again, like, I don't know if you heard, Jay, but it was people, like younger kids are watching more porn. Like you said, ass and tits is everywhere. You know, now they're thinking of sexual activities as fun instead of creation. And now, because they find out that creation is part of the sexual activity, they're saying, how can we kill the creation? Let's use condoms. Let's use all sorts of different contraceptives. Let's use abortion, right? So, and all of that ability to kill a child, to stop creation, is a mental aspect that decreases that yearning for connection. You know, let me just go ahead and put some meat in you and be done with you. And then we got songs about it. You know what I mean? So it's like that form of media is a strategic tool for depopulation and control. That's how I feel about it.
Right.
I mean, that's an interesting topic in and of itself, right? Depopulation. I always like to start from, like, everything that we see in our physical reality starts from a place in the spiritual realm, right? And this realm in which we live always seeks to try to mirror that or duplicate what's happening on in the spiritual realm. So if you think about, like, let's just say depopulation, for example, we see like the gross, ugly side of how they're using things to depopulate us. But if you think about a lot of spiritual context when it talks about sex in and of itself, it's also not used to just have kids willy nilly, right? It's not used to just be a tool to just
Never.
always have sex as many times as you want, right? It's more consciousness to it. So that in and of itself would be like a higher state of what sex is for. And in that sense, especially you and I talked about it before, Ali, that if males were taught like we used to be taught when it came to preserving the seed and how to have orgasms and separate orgasms from ejaculation, that type of higher consciousness about sex in and of itself would decrease the amounts of children who were being born. And the reason why that's also a higher level of consciousness when it comes to sex is because parents then would kind of reverence more of bringing a child into it. They would into this world. They would kind of plan more about having a child, and it would be brought into the world with more of a higher level of consciousness rather than just having 30 kids. Now you can't afford to take care of them. So in and of itself, rising to a level of higher consciousness about sex would be the highest form of decreasing the amount of, I guess, quote unquote, souls coming into this world without proper guidance versus the gross form of what they're trying to do it with abortion and so on and so forth. So it is like an evolution in a sense that we will have less children as people come into the knowledge of what true love and sex is about. And I'll leave it there. But
I disagree.
Go ahead.
I disagree. Oh, but if you got something to say, go ahead, Jay.
And real quick, so I think, and this is my hot take, and people don't like it. Basically,
go for it, Doc.
More nice and maybe inflammatory way. I think that having kids because you want them is the opposite and equal kind of psychotic action as murdering someone. I think you're bringing a person into the world willy-nilly. You're subjecting them to all of this, whether it be bad life. You're just making a person because you want to. That's fucking psychotic. I think it's as crazy as saying this person no longer needs to be in the world, so I'm going to take them out. So I agree with the spiritual like guidance of like, I have planned this kid. This is the life I want for them. This is how I'm going to raise them. Like, you actually are intentional about it. I think that will decrease the population. It'll also make people of more substance because we plan for these people to be here. So yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with both of you.
All right,
but only in the sense of this. Everything that you said, both of the things that y'all said were responsible. They are responsible and intentional, right? Those are intentional thoughts. There's intentional spiritually, intentional morally, intentional, well, spiritual, morally, same thing, but intentional to growth and creation. Now, if we had that intention, right? If that was part of our natural thinking, there will be more people. And the reason why I said that, because the environment around us would not be the environment that we live in right now. The environment around us would be more loving towards us, would be more peaceful. We would be able to intentionally say, yeah, we don't have to live in this city. There's nobody killing or corralling us to a city. I could build a family out here in the woods and still be close enough to the city. There wouldn't be people destroying the physical world that we live in. You know, there'll be more responsibility everywhere and for everybody. So I do feel that there will be more people because we will be able to spread out more. We wouldn't be corralled. Right now, it's not responsible because everybody's got to live in the city. We got to build up, even though there's millions, well, I ain't gonna say millions, but hundreds of thousands of miles of land that we do not live on. You see what I mean?
So, and you bring up another point about, you know, the cities. You know, what
Right.
part of like the depopulation agenda.
I think it's a matter of politics.
Cities, yeah, it's a matter of
economy.
politics.
I think.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay. You were saying something, but then you kind of faded out a bit. You said you think it's a matter of politics. Yeah,
That's what I think. Oh yeah.
yeah, I think so. I tend to agree.
Yeah,
like,
no, I think it's a matter. Yeah, I do, and I think it's man. It goes back to the inception of this whole system. I think you have capitalism, which is good.
all right, Jay, we kind of losing you a bit. It was sounding like you were saying something about part of the system of capitalism is what's forcing us into cities and things like that. And I tend to agree that in order for this system to work in the capitalistic system, hopefully Jay can jump back on, man. Yeah, we've been having some issues with his internet speed or something like that. But
yeah, I kind of want to hear that point, that angle,
yeah,
because I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but we'll give it a second before I jump in on it, so he can finish his point. So you were saying that we could live in rural areas and have more children and things like that, but for some reason we kind of being forced into the cities, or not forced into the cities. I guess I don't want to expand on what you said.
Well, no, I'm just saying the mindset of people, and that we are right now is allowing this. If we had that mindset that yours just talking about, the world wouldn't look like this. But go ahead, Jay. You was talking about the capitalist issue, and we really want to hear that point or that angle.
Yeah, I was speaking about that in regards to what the cities. Is that what we were talking about? And why we can't just be in the woods doing our thing. I think yeah. So it starts with capitalism. It starts with the structure of this country on a racial level. I think the corralling us into cities. I think the putting highways through these major thriving black towns and cities. I think that is all a part of keeping us divided. I think it's all a part of keeping us suppressed, keeping our nervous systems just always on edge. Whether it be through air pollution, whether it be through shitty street lamps, like it's nonstop for black and brown communities. And I think that basically the capitalism has gotten away with itself, and I think a lot of that is attached to the racism of this country. And they're going to do everything they can to make sure that we can't go off into the woods and do our thing. Because you go off into the woods, you buy land, you build everything from scratch or grid. Someone will still come and ask for you to pay taxes on that land. It's all yours. You're not siphoning off of the government at all. They're still going to try to make you pay taxes off that. So,
for sure,
I think it's just a matter of literally keeping everybody down so that we can't be a functioning people. And I think that's where, unfortunately, the left has a problem with being annoying as fuck. But the hearts are in the right spot as far as like your socialism, your democratic socialism, making sure our basic needs are taken care of before we move on to having a second home, having a yacht for fun. I think these are things that we need to make sure that as a people that we're good, so that we can go live the way we want to live. But we have to get rid of old mindsets, and I think we're starting to see the what's the word I'm looking for? The extinction of that mindset. But it's at odds with different generations, different ways of thinking.
I mean, yeah, you bring up a lot of points, man, especially about the land in and of itself. My wife and I were talking yesterday a little bit about the illegal immigration situation. And one of the things that had to be introduced with the capitalistic system was just the very thought that someone could own the land. Because the indigenous people didn't have a concept of owning land. It was just it's just where we live. We're all part of the land. It was part of who they were. So part of the system came in and started moving people off of their lands because people are connected to the lands. Like where you live, where you grow up, the foods that grow there, the foods that thrive there becomes part of your DNA. And it becomes part of who you are. And if you start moving people off the land, then it disconnects them with who they really are. And then you start doing things like implementing paperwork to say, no, we own the land now. That concept had to be introduced and trained and taught people that this is how we live now. And that's part of the system that we're under now that controls people. And when it comes to these cities,
right.
When it comes to these cities, you know, getting us into the cities is like a modern day prison in a sense, because now we can be more easily controlled because we have to live off of, you know, grocery stores, and we live off of, you know, all the things that are involved, like electricity in and of itself. You know, so a lot of these things are just put in place, and there's no real scarcity of land, which they try to tell us there is. So we don't really have to live in cities. You know what I mean? This scarcity has been created. It's an artificial state of scarcity. Like, what do they say all the time about California? You know, they're in a water shortage. Like, really, bro? Y'all live next to an ocean. Like, seriously? Like, there's no water? Just look out there. There's millions of gallons of water.
Gallons and gallons. And we got freaking, what's that thing they got?
The desalination stuff, or
desalination, dehumidifiers that can pull water out of the air. You know, it's like, how are you in a drought? And this is the thing. How the fuck? How are Americans? How are we believing this? How are we allowing this? I mean, like, it's not hard for us to understand that you got boats that don't come back to land. Do they think that all these, you know, boats have millions of bottled water on the boats? Or how about the submarines? They make their own water too, you know? So, I mean,
it's because we've been miseducated, bro, and taught not to use critical thinking. Obviously, I mean, I was on a ship for 6 months, and we had water every day. Like, where is this water coming from? Obviously, the ocean. And for people to believe and fall for this, it's because, like, the language in which the media uses and the way they shape all the arguments, if you're not able to critically think, you won't even look around outside and look like there's an ocean, but you over here like no water, when we have the technology to desalinate. And even the same thing with land. I talk to people all the time. They say, oh man, we don't have any land. You a damn fool if you think we don't have enough land. I live in Oregon, bro. I can't tell you how many acres and acres of land there is for just grapes. Just grapes.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, we don't all need to live in cities. This is all indoctrination to create a system in which we feel like scarcity is around us. But we live in a, I mean, Earth is an organism, right? It self-regenerates. The rain comes down, it evaporates, goes back up. It's a recycling unit in and of itself. But we've been indoctrinated to think that everything is scarce. And that's part of the control. Because once you put people in the fear of they're going to run out, then you can have people like ICE come in and make us feel scared that we're running out of stuff. I live here in Oregon, bro, and I'll let you guys get the stage. We went to my wife and I went to an NAACP dinner on Thursday night, and they posed questions on these little note cards for us to have communication about one of the questions was, what would you like to see different in your community? And one of the guys who was sitting across from me, he was a white guy, about 60 something years old. And he said, you know, us white people are afraid. And I said, afraid of what? He said, afraid that America is turning too brown. I said, oh, well, that's interesting, because when I living here in Oregon, bro, it's like, I don't know, probably like 1% Black people here. But yeah, you got people in this community who feel like it's becoming too brown. And then another lady said, well, we got to have more. She said that she talks to people who say we got to have more white babies to stop this state from coming too brown. Like if you look around, I see like 2 brown people a day. What are y'all afraid of? Obviously, you've been indoctrinated by the media, because in your immediate vicinity, there's not even any black people around, but yet you believe in the narrative that they're taking over the whole state. Come on, guys, wake the hell up. We got to just wake up and have some critical thinking, man.
Well, I'm going to step in to this one first, and real short. I think that I don't think it's a racist thing. I think it's more of people feeling separate. You know, however it is they're seeing it. Like, it could be a racist thing, but it's still I think it's a fear of separation. Like, if there's all these Mexicans, all these black people, and black people count as all the Africans and the Haitians and whatever. And when they say Mexican, I'm talking about all the Latinos everywhere that are somewhat brown. You know what I mean? Or even the Polynesians that we have coming in, the Samoans, and those are still considered brown. So I think what they feel is they're adding all of those into the brown faces. And they're like, these people are having sex and popping out babies, so we're going to lose control. Even though they're not seeing it in their face, they're hearing it, just like what you said, through the media. I think it's just the fear of being separated. So go ahead, Jay, if you had something to jump on there. I'm complete.
Yeah, so I had a bunch of thoughts all in there. So I think it's a nuanced thing, right? Because we have racists who are blatantly racist, but then there's a bunch of good people out there who don't understand that they are following a white supremacist talking point. You know what I mean? Like, I've known people, good people that I've worked with, who would say stuff like, you know, we need to have more white babies because we're running. Like, that's a Klan talking point, just so you know. Like, I understand that you don't hate me because of, you know, who I am and where I come from, and that you're not out here wanting to lynch people or whatever, but like you're upholding the white supremacist structure. And then you kind of break that down to them, and they kind of see that you can be racist and not necessarily be a terrible person. It's just the doctrine that you're following because you're uneducated is part of the problem. So I agree on both points. Like, you might not be necessarily racist in the traditional sense, or by, you know, the Webster dictionary definition, but it is a wild thing to see, and it's definitely indoctrination to think that, you know, it's going to become too brown. You mean it's going to become brown again? It was brown before you got here. Everyone, it's re-browning again. You know what I mean? And also, I think it's a wild thing to try to force the control. Like, if you have to stay on top of it and continuously control your domination, that means it's unnatural, and you can't maintain it. So at that point, if you don't surrender to just the flow of how things work, then you are, you know, white knuckling your whole existence, your people's whole existence, and that's just bad for your people. So,
for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things I try to get at, and I think it's really a challenge to start these conversations where us as average citizens can start to see the similarities versus starting these conversations from seeing the differences. And what, you know what I mean? Like even at the NAACP, which is, you know, it's done a lot of great things for people of color over the years. But also, if we're always going to start with, all right, here's the color people, we need to get these things right for the color people, that's great. I'm not for that. But also at the same time, what we see around us happening is, because like I said, I live in a majority white community. It's the white people suffering economically, just like the blacks. And when people are suffering economically, no matter the race, they need to be brought up in some type of way. So to start these conversations in a way that, hey, we're all struggling here. There's only a small group of people who are putting all of us in the struggle. How do we unite under an umbrella or a term that will include all of us, that could get us to see where the real problem is. And it's the same. The problem stems from the same people that it's always stemmed from, the ones who seek to control the entire system. And they're not going to relinquish that control. And it's hard for them. It's hard for us to even have a conversation that could even unite us in one united front against the ones who are controlling.
And one of the ways that we can't, one of the reasons that we can't unite, it's because of our levels that we are thinking. Mm-hmm. It's our levels. My house costs $300 some thousand. My house costs $800 some thousand. My house, I can afford a house that costs $1.2 million. All of us niggas still poor.
Yeah. Yes. That's
you know, it's like when you see a person that is a billionaire, not a millionaire, a billionaire. When you know that there's people that got $7-8 billion, $20 billion, $400 billion, and then going up to $1 trillion, their whole generation for hundreds and thousands, I mean, like at least 80 generations, if you're a trillionaire, they don't have to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? So it is one of those things to where us people, we need to stop trying to level up above everybody in the sense of unity, in the sense of unity, only in that sense. Because I mean, I'm not saying that we have to go live on the streets because like, nigga, I ain't doing that. I struggled to get to where I'm at. I ain't
for sure.
But we need to stop literally separating ourselves from that homeless person. You know, now, mind you, there are people who are sick in the head that we do have to kind of separate ourselves from. You know, but everybody's not. Some people are just having hard issues, and everybody that has money or that is at a level higher than myself, they're not always right in the head neither. But if we can still unite on at least that plane, that will give everybody else a different sense of freedom to unite. I mean, to do more together. I'm complete.
What I'm hearing is class consciousness. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like, there's a lot of identity politics. I think there's a lot of, what team are you on? For the right wingers, it's usually just a matter of believing in Jesus and believing in America. Way more nuanced. It's way more nitpicky. But at the end of the day, it's class consciousness. It's people. It's the workers versus the people who control everything. And I think, like you said, as soon as we all, come together with that, it's a wrap, and that's all the control, and that's all the subtext and the brainwashing that they're doing through numerous forms, whether it be images or music or whatever conspiracy you're into. There's probably some truth to it. But yeah, it's a class consciousness thing. I think the second we're linked up, it's a wrap.
You guys hit the nail on the head, I think, man, in a lot of different ways. And what comes in my mind is like all of the mechanisms that have been put in place to control. Let's say, for example, education. If I graduate from a university, that puts me in my consciousness above you who didn't. Right. If I can afford a Rolex and you can't, in my mind, I'm somehow better than you. Right. And it's just kind of these different carrots, whether it be education, money, a specific title. I'm a doctor, you work at McDonald's. And it's no different from what they would do with the field nigger, right? I work in the house and you work outside, so I'm better than you. Mm-hmm. When the reality is we're all slaves. And the only thing that's separating us is the seeds and the connotations that get planted behind those different titles that makes us see ourselves as different. But it takes certainly some awareness to be able to look at, I might work in the house, but I'm still a slave. And this is what these titles do to us and why they make us try to identify with them so much. because it's the language and how we describe these different titles and all the connotations that go along with them that creates a divide in and of itself. If I'm a doctor, then, you know, I live here, I drive this car, I do these things. If I'm a Burger King worker, I live here, I do these things, so on and so forth. If I'm black, then certain things come along with that. If I'm white, certain things come along with that. And it's these very labels then and of themselves that really creates the divide. So it's like, what, you know, how could we relabel the slaves in of themselves to like realize, hey, we're all in the same pot. And that's just kind of how I think about it. And I think these different tools or different classifications are the issues.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Young is muted.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I agree. Yeah. I agree 100% with what you're saying. Yeah, there's really not too much and that's not with separation with that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess you know how what's this? I always love this line from Tupac. You know, you can learn to see me as your brother instead of a distant stranger, but no one can really make you see that. It's kind of like a feeling, and we talked about how feelings sometimes are the most accurate way to really know when someone's your brother or your sister or your friend. The feeling that you get from them, and sometimes, you know, these words, you know, like for a homeless person, you start to have certain thoughts in your mind about them, and it won't allow you to tap into that feeling. So how do you know? It's almost like, how do we get back to that feeling of love for one another, that feeling of, you know.
I know the way, one way, because there's many different mechanisms to use, right? Mm-hmm. To do that. One way is to detaching ourselves from this media. The media is the one who is putting all the diversity in there. Then you have to really detach yourself from the old way of thinking inside of each and everybody's community, you know, as far as my generation, you know, of people where we were around, and there's still racism out there. There's still classism out there, but we still have to see, and religion brings that separation too. Just everything that separates us. Football separates us. you know, fuck the Redskins, nigga. We can't. And then you got people fighting against calling them the Redskins. You know, what you call it? That's racist too. I mean, like, everybody's so stuck on wanting to be separate, wanting the individuality, but even the school, because we don't understand what individuality really is. Individuality is actually oneness, which is kind of weird. But when did they start taking I out of our language? In school, right? In school, like when you're in kindergarten, first grade, you say I have this, I have that, I have this, I have this. Then they say, okay, now you're in third, fourth grade, fifth grade. At least when I was younger. I don't know about so much now. Don't use I anymore. You have to use they, or like when you're writing, who told you this? Get out of first person. Don't use first person. Use second and third. You know, you're talking about somebody else now. You're not talking about yourself. You know, it's not your opinion anymore. It's somebody else. You bring somebody else in this to make your point. You know, it's somebody else's, but you need to work cited. I mean, and now trust me, I do understand you can't just go out there and be like, yo, yeah, in order to build this truck, you have to do this and this and this. Like, hold on for a second. We need some proof. Unless you're doing it yourself, you know, we need some proof for this scientific method. Who else is backing you? If because you're not proving it. Like Terrence Howard, right? Terrence Howard comes up with all this math stuff.
A lot of stuff.
And
He does a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like even though I've been told and I've seen videos that his stuff is right, but there's so many other people that say it's wrong that's still in the same field. Right. You know, he needs, in order to give it to the people that don't even dabble in that field, he needs other people to support him, right? So that part I'm not against, but I am against the way that the children are being taught to separate themselves from their writing, because it's not theirs anymore. It's not I. And if we are able to say I, and you're able to say I, even when we describe things right now, we do not take responsibility for it. Because, you know, just right there, what did I just say? Because you know. Hey, it's like, you know, when you go into the store and they say this to you, no, I've never been into that store where they said that to me. You know, it's like when I went into the store, I did this. Now that should allow somebody else to experience it through their own experiences. You know what I mean? I'm telling the story about me. I'm holding the responsibility for me. I'm not trying. We then got so accustomed to putting everything on you. You know how, like, when you fall on the ground and you bust your knee? No. It's like, that train of thought is taking the responsibility off of us. If we held the responsibility even in our subconscious, we would be united.
Right.
We would be united because we would allow people to come into our world by me being responsible for the words that I say, instead of me trying to put my words on you, my experiences on you. Let me just tell you my experiences from me. Now, you know how, like, when your wife cheats on you or your girlfriend cheats on you and you do this and this and this, like, that's not me taking responsibility. That's me projecting. You see what I mean?
Sure.
It's not a powerful projection. It's more powerful when I take responsibility for it and allow you to step into my world.
I kind of feel that. What do you got, Jay? I got something I want to say on it, but go for it.
Yeah, so I got to cut out in a second. I got to get ready for work, but it reminds me of two. One was a personal experience that kind of you touched on, which was funny to me. I'm working with this dude in a pizza shop, and he's, you know, hardcore metalhead, and we're scraping the wax off of brie. And he was like, I don't really like brie. And I was like, oh, whatever. I was thinking about it. And he was like, yeah, man, I don't like the smell. It kind of reminds me of cum. You know what I mean? And I was like, nah. I don't know.
Hold on, bro.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm gay, blah, blah. Like, you know, I meet his boyfriend later on that day, but I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like,
I did not expect it to go there.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. But, you know, but what I'm hearing also is that, like, when you surrender when you give up your experience, when you surrender, you know, your experience, is give up the narrative as well. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like, as soon as you kind of separate yourself from your experience, then you're allowing someone else to dictate the narration of the story? Well,
no, I'm saying, like, when I separate myself by putting it on another person,
okay,
it loses the connection.
Okay. Because
I have the ability, like, if I'm saying you, just like what you did, man, I don't know what the cum smell like, you know, it's a separation. It's like, why are you forcing me to think this? Why are you doing this? But if I just say it's all on me, that allows you, even if you don't agree, to come to the door and be like, okay, I see what you're saying. You know, I don't know that situation, but okay.
Right.
You know, there's no negative pushback. You see what I mean? Or not negative pushback. There's no pushback. It's what it is. You know, I'm still I'm at the line of your world. I'm not running away from you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, bro. I want to try to put it in this context. Like, in this reality, it tries to make you seek outside validation to really get clarity on who you are. So when you do something, you say, oh, well, we can't just take Ali's word for it. We got to compare it with everything else to see if it matches up with the way in which we all think, right? So it forces you to try to seek this outside validation. But if you think about it in a spiritual context, and I think the mystery behind the all-seeing eye is like this eye that sees everything. The I am that I am. So when you're really in your true consciousness, you're pulling from a source of information and knowledge that doesn't need validation from anything else. It's just I am that I am. But this world tries to make you seek outside validation. And if we could all tap into that trueness of from true heart intention, true mind intention, and your energy be true, that is your truth. And when you can stand in that, it doesn't need validation because you validated it by yourself. And then as mature other people around you, you have to be able to say, Ali's standing in his own power from his heart, his true intention, and that's his truth. I'm going to not accept it, or I am going to accept it. But he's in his truth. I got my own truth over here. But this world does not allow us to live in that way. It tries to devalue your own truth.
Right.
But the reality is we all create our own worlds from in our own mind, in our own thoughts, and we all live in our own world that we share with other people. And we can invite people into that world or not, or they can accept coming into it or not. Go for it, bro. Looks like you want to say something.
Yeah, let's do this real quick because Jay does have to step off real quick. Do you have any last words to say? And before you do say anything, we'd like to thank you for coming, and we appreciate your conversation. Hopefully, we'll be able to get an opportunity to have you back again, and so we can do this. We can do this.
Yeah. First of all, I'm sorry I was in the wrong spot. My house is a little crowded right now, so I kept cutting out. So I apologize for that. But no, it's been great. I love talking to you guys. I have a lot of stuff to say, especially if we're talking about religion, internal energy, and like that oneness of your own truth. And I have a ton of stuff to say about that. So I can't wait to talk to you guys about all of that and rant at you about it for a bit. But no, it's been great, and I appreciate being on. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, man. Great to have you here, Jay. Great meeting you, man. And we look forward to more conversations in the future. Appreciate your input on all that we discussed today, man.
All right.
Have an awesome day at work.
All right. I appreciate it. Y'all take care.
All right, brother.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I don't know if I think that kind of also goes in line with what you were saying about just being in your own truth. And
yeah. See, I do really feel that when being in my truth and understanding allows somebody else to tell me theirs. Yeah. Tell me, as long as I know, hey, this is where I stand, I think more people would be able to listen. We would be more open to hear. Well, I don't have to agree with you.
Right.
I hear what your truth is. Tell me what your truth is. Your truth is that. Okay, I dig it. I don't agree. But we're here. Let's keep it moving, because I see that you're a person that's not afraid to tell your truth. You're not afraid to tell your truth. Let me hear your truth on something else, because you listen to my truth. Here's my truth on getting this burger that we're getting ready to go to the store and get. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, man.
And that's what's important. People need to start saying I. Do you know when there was this one situation that I was walking down the street and this guy came over and he said this and this and this and this? That right there opens up even the question, have that ever happened to you? Instead of just automatically violating somebody's space, somebody's mental space, and say, you do this, you do this. That's a magical spell anyway.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You're making me put my guard up, because now I got to sit there and and figure out, have I did this?
Yes.
Where in my life are you trying to infect me? This is like a virus, because I'm not trying to think about that shit.
No doubt. No doubt. And if you think about it, like in my industry, right, as a trainer, you have to go through the certifications and all that stuff, and you learn all the theories, but that stuff is in place then for you to really start saying, okay, well, how can I create something new from this? But when you have to validate everything against all the peer review stuff, all the things that happen, it slows down the ability to kind of advance, because you got to go back and look at the research. That's old news. But when creation really happens like real time, like it's fast, like like children when they playing games outside and they coming up with a game and then, oh yeah, let's do this and let's do that, and it's like a real time immersive experience. But if I got to stop being immersed and go do the research, it's slowing down the ability to really leapfrog, and that's a part of the game, right? To keep new advances from happening quickly, because then you can't really control the narrative as well, and then you'll see people really taking off.
Right, because that's how creation works.
Yes, real time.
Yeah, real time, and that's what's happening. You're creating something. Hey, little kid, what are you doing? You're doing that. Well, I know you got the imaginary gun, but you can't hold the gun that way. That's not how guns work. You have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like you're killing imagination. You're killing their creative, because you're adding structure to something that's flowing.
That's flowing.
Yeah,
it cuts the flow.
And that's the same way. I'm sitting here having an idea, like what you said, when it comes to exercising or whatever. You want to add, this is the physical exercise. I want to add some chakra exercises to my bench and cardio workout, plus also add some esoteric ideas at the same time, because now I'm not just exercising the body, I'm exercising the mind, and I'm exercising this area all at the same time. Well, what proof do you have?
Yeah, what proof you got? Yeah, now you got to now I got to do the research.
Yeah, show me something else that is exactly like what you're saying.
Yeah,
because if it's not exactly like what you're saying, maybe what you're saying isn't right.
ain't right.
That's what kills creativity. Because maybe what you're doing is creating something that will destroy medical health.
Yeah, and they don't want that. They want you to be on that umbrella. And then, like we were saying earlier, the education, like let's say you're exercise guru, you took all the studies, you got all the degrees. They don't want you coming out like that, because now, like, what good is my degree now if you coming out with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, you gotta fit over here, bro. We've studied this for 30 years. You don't have any studies or research. Your shit is bullshit. Like, really don't. But it just worked with me and my client I'm training right here. It just worked with me and my people. You're gonna invalidate this real world truth experience that was developed from right now?
Hell no. Yeah. And we gonna sue you. And we're gonna get you in jail. Because that doesn't follow the script.
Yeah, bro. You're a charlatan now, man. You're a witch doctor. We gotta put some
yeah. And then they go ahead and add, this nigger back in or
who's he thinking?
This black person, whatever the fuck they gonna say, is uneducated and trying to kill people with this new workout activity that only his cult.
Oh yeah, only his cult. Oh, and you know what you do after we put you in jail? Oh, we're gonna take that idea. We're gonna put a patent on it. Now it's ours.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now it's ours, and that's how. That's the game.
Yep. So
that's the game. Like, how many? I mean, I don't know how many inventions there were by, they say, quote unquote, black people in the day that were just invented in real time, and then their owners, slave owners, business owners, whatever you call them, took those ideas that were created real time when these people were just in their groove and patent them, and now they profit off of them. That's what that whole thing is about, bro.
Hey, like when they did the filament, like that black dude invented the filament. He's like, no. I actually did the ball. I created the ball that was already around to put the filament in. So I created the light bulb. Thank you for the filament that actually is the process of creating the light. But I got the glass.
Yep.
And thank you for telling me that this glass is too thick and it won't work, and how to seal your filament in here for it to work. I still did it. Yes. So It's like it's that's why we need to get back to I.
Yeah.
We need to get back to I, because the one thing that you said is that, I mean, excuse me, I just got flooded with all kinds of stuff because you said a lot of stuff. But it's like, I can't say, it's too much stuff crushing me right now.
All right, dog. I don't know what went on, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that, man. And like I say, they try to make you feel like you're less than when you come up with your own things. You have to seek that outside validation. And if you think about that on the very nature of outside validation, it points you away from yourself. And all knowledge, I think we discussed, should lead you back to yourself, because at the end of the day, this whole place here is a journey of self-discovery, like discovering who you are, and just letting that come through without all the labels. Just like, who am I? Who am I really? What did I come here to be? And if you got to be validated by everything else, then you might be lost forever trying to figure it out. If you're not able to trust the things that are coming through you.
Yeah, it's
man.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's an odd world, man. Like navigating through, like a sea of craziness just to find that one inkling of yourself. It's just interesting, man. I don't even know how to describe it, really.
No,
what this place is, man.
It's kind of weird right now, because I have it right here in my head. The discussion that we had, but the words to talk about it is not coming at this time. And I think it's also because I looked over here. What I wrote in our chat was, I think this is good. Let's do it again, Jay. That area, that's the area that works for the internet connection. I don't know if you can see that in the comments, and I don't think you can.
No, I can't.
You can't? Okay, I'll take a picture and I'll show it to you. It says, YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Trying to change it a bit. It's like, I don't know how that could be spam, but whatever.
Okay. Maybe let me hear this. All I can see is welcome to the podcast, all that. But yeah, that's weird, man. So you're saying you're saying like we hit on some good threads, or what? Like some good topics?
No, I mean, no, that part is distracting me from
your, okay.
Yeah, from my thought, because I'm like, how is that spam? Anyway, the I, the individualism is what allows us to be awesome creators. It allows us to be together. That is not individualism. It gives us freedom. I think it really just makes us whole. The I brings us back to the source. It lets us know who the source is. You know, it lets us know that we are the source. It gives us the ability to understand that intention is part of creation, you know, and intention starts with, I mean, is I don't have your intention. Your intention is yours. That belongs to you. That belongs to you and your um, motion and movement in creation. My intention belongs to me. I am the source of my intention. You're the source in your intention. That brings everything down to me. You know, that brings everything down to me. And I can have an intention to let you know you might be going on a different direction. Your intention might be like, okay, well, hey, guess what, brother? You do your thing. I have nothing to do with you. I don't disrespect you. I don't feel bad about you. You're in another direction. And because I'm in mind and I'm thinking about I don't get mad at you. But when I bring you into it, you know, when I bring the word you and try to put you, I'm blaming you for something. You're not listening to me. You know,
yeah, for sure.
not this person over here, or I have an intention that doesn't involve this person. I'm starting off with I have this, and this person, or I have this, and you're on a different path. Not you're not listening to me. I have an idea. You know, right
Yeah.
there, we're at odds because me trying to put you in a different spot, or me trying to control where you are instead of
Yeah.
me controlling where I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Without wanting to see something else different from someone else.
yeah, right. And that's love. That's where the connection comes
Yep.
in. That's where the
Absolutely.
connection comes in.
Yep. Yeah, man. For sure, bro. That definitely is love, and that's a definition that we don't really think of love about, right? And why we really get that definition wrong, because I'm guilty of it as well. Like we say we love someone. Like example was this kid that I know was on the basketball team. Just the other week, we heard his grandmother was kind of funding his school, and then she found out, she loves her grandson. She's gonna pay him. He bought his girlfriend a ring to get proposed. Oh, cut him off. Cut him off. Like no more paying for school. I guess you gotta figure it out now. Like if you really love someone, it's not based on what they do or not do. It's just you love them and accept it as it is.
Right.
But oftentimes we like, well, if you ain't doing this for me, then I'm gonna feel some kind of way. But that's really true love. And if you think about it from a higher concept, like what a creator would do for his creation, is he just loves them and gives to them freely.
Right.
Or
Right.
yeah, the creator. I don't say him or her because I think it's both. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, but
Which I think you get my point.
You're right. The creator says, "I love you. You are the source. Do with that as you will."
If you fuck it up and mess it up, I still love you. If you do something great, I still love you. If you don't
Yeah.
do it right, it's not perfect. Still, that doesn't change.
You're right. You're murdering people. That's different. I don't understand. The source or God, the creators. Okay, well, you're still. I love you. I love you enough that I will not take my laws away from you.
Yeah, you still got the air to breathe. You still got the water. You still got it.
Yeah.
This I was listening to something the other day, and he explained like how we as humans, like if you were to imagine, like you looking at me on the screen, and the view of a human is like if you were to look at just this little pixel right here. That's all you could really see was just this little pixel. But the whole world is this whole thing that you can see with me. So in your limited view as a human, you can only see this pixel, but sometimes you might see the pixel of this picture on the wall. Well, why does it look red sometimes? Or sometimes you might see the pixel of the white wall behind me. But as a limited being, that's all you can really see. But as a creator, you see this whole screen with me and all the pictures on the wall behind me. And the creator has that type of viewpoint. So it sees all the negative, all the positive, all the quote unquote good, the bad, the murder, the rape, the whatever, and it sees all that. And I'm not saying any of that is good or bad, but what I'm saying is that's the vantage point of the creator, and that's the vantage point that true love would come from.
Right.
Being able to see how all of those things mix together and create the reality. But as us, we see this little pixel and we say, oh, well, from this limited view, that's good, that's bad, that's bad. Well, you don't even have any clue of what the whole picture is.
Right. And that, and on an even larger scale, and I believe it's a larger scale, and I believe your scale is perfect for what you're talking about as far as love, right? On a larger scale of creation, we can see, like, our radar for the stuff that we believe that we can create is probably, and I'm not going to go with time, I'm going to go with distance. Okay, distance is what I'm saying, and is probably on a radar of 6 inches.
Okay,
right? We can see 6 inches. That 6 inches might represent 24 hours. That 6 inches might represent a year, right? Or even less than that, 2 weeks, right? Or a year. But the creator sees that out of that 6 inches, the creator sees when you ask that question, hey, God, I need to be able to, I need this building, right? The creator sees that your intention is this. And you may not be able to see further than 6 inches, but the creator got 3 miles of area to work with to bring that gift or to bring those things into your perception of 6 inches, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
we lose that idea of us being the source. We lose that idea of us being able to create because we are so lost on the idea of how far we can really see, or how far we need to see, or how strong our energy is, or how strong our magnet is to pull these things to us, to create things on the outside that make stuff happen that we don't even know is happening. We don't know that when I prayed that Jawaharlal over there in India had created a new app that Sisophone in Asia is going to use to sell Brian over here in Brazil a new thing that comes over to some dude in New York that freaking gets run over by a car that his family donates him. I mean, gets donated a bunch of stuff, and that goes over to somebody else that really loves dogs, that sees the video, that does whatever, that moves somebody here in Vegas to give me what I want. You know, now all of that might take 7 days. All of that might take 2 years, but it's my intention that pulls it. And I didn't know none of that, how that was going to work.
Yeah.
That's how the source works. And we got to understand that when we deal with we're focusing on us.
Yeah.
We're focusing on us, which brings that intention more. And we have less doubt because we understand us. When I focus on the yous, the Mr. Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Jones down the street and trying to get what they want. I'm not focusing on me. I'm focusing on them, which changes my intention and changes my ability to create what's really my intention.
Yeah.
My intention, and nobody's intention is really, in my mind, their born intention is not to be like Mr. and Mrs. Jones down the street.
No way. Yeah, for sure.
You
Hey
know,
man, that's a hell of a way to bring it in to full circle about what we're talking about. But yeah, man, I like that analogy, man. That's yeah, that was a great one, Ali. You gotta put that one on vinyl.
okay.
You gotta put that on vinyl because when you think about it too, and it like when you say something like God's ways are not like our ways, that right there really puts it into concept of how it's really not like our ways, or the creator's ways are not like our ways, because in that same analogy, it also brings in the what we call past, future, and present, but the sages, or the meta, to say time is kind of linear, circular. It's not just linear, because if you want that house today, like somebody started building on it and working on it maybe 30 years ago, and then you move into it in 2019, but it was put in place and all the and but you won't move. You say you want it today, you might move into what we call 2027, but it started way back then, like this orchestration of all these different events that made it possible for you in 2027. So it's yeah, I mean, it's a wild concept to really even try to wrap your head around how creation really works,
Right. And it's something that we would be able to wrap our head around if we focused on if we had practice, if we have practice inside of the eye, and we pay attention. There's I don't know. I don't really have that much time.
Yeah, I got a couple minutes too, but go for it.
But no, I don't have that much time to tell you the story.
Oh, okay.
Me and Vanessa watched creation happen. We watched it from the conception to the finish point, and I want to share that. You got 3 minutes?
Yeah, go for it. 3 minutes.
Okay, so check this out. Me and Vanessa, I use this trick I seen to get me and Vanessa to go to a restaurant. It was our date night, so I asked her. I said, okay, so where do you want to go? I mean, I said I have an idea. I mean, excuse me, blah. Okay, there we go. I'm back.
Hey, you got 2.5 minutes now, bro.
Oh, okay, I got you. I can say it real quick. I said, Vanessa, I'm already going. I already know where we're going to go. Guess where we're going? You got 3 choices. She said Zippy's. I was like, bet. That's exactly where we was going to go for our date night. So we're getting ready to go to date night, and she says, ooh, I don't really want to tip. So let's sit outside. So we're driving, and now my intention is just to spend time with her. That's my intention, just to spend time with her. We brought in, she doesn't really want to tip. Let's sit outside. We go over there. The outside part is in the shade. It's too cold. I don't want to sit outside. Okay, we can go inside. Don't worry about the tip. I just won't tip. She felt it was bad, right? She felt it was bad not to tip. We should tip. Don't worry about it. I'm the one paying. Oh shit. I'm the one paying, so we don't have to tip. So now she feels bad about not tipping. We go in there. Zippy's main thing, one of their signature thing is chili. They don't make the chili there. The chili comes in a bag. They put it in water and they heat it up and they put it in the bowl. Right? Yeah. We already know that process. And they do like a cheesecake flan type pie that they and it's one of their staples. It's something they're supposed to have. So we sit down, we order chili, It takes 15, almost 20 minutes for the chili to come out, and it comes out and it's dry and crusty. We're like, oh, wait a minute. This ain't this. I'm not eating this. I'm not eating this. And she looks at hers and she's like, nah, we're not eating this because we know what a chili is supposed to look like, you know? So they end up taking the chili back and trying to get us some more. Now it's taking another 20 minutes, or 15 minutes so far to come. And I'm like, I'm not going to stay here. We really wanted this, but I'm not dealing with this. This is not what I do, you know? And Vanessa's like, well, let's give them 3 minutes. I was like, they got 3 minutes. I'm fucking out, right? So as soon as the 3 minute hit, we leave. I leave. She stays in to argue with the people. She comes out and whatever. And I'm like, did you notice what happened? And she's like, what? Are you trying to blame me for this? I was like, no. So I'm going to get past all that bickering part. But I'm like, did you notice what happened? I said the intention was for me to spend time with you. We're spending time together. We're spending time together. You brought in the fact that you didn't want to tip. But at the same time, when you brought in the fact that you didn't want to tip, you wanted to sit outside to dodge the tip, because you don't have to tip when you sit outside, right?
Yeah.
And because you're ordering out and we can just go sit outside. But I didn't want to sit outside because it's cold. But I still said, I won't tip. Don't worry about it. I won't tip. That made you feel bad. So what the universe did, what our energy did, was said, okay, your intent was to spend time with her. You can spend time with her, but she doesn't want to tip. But you're not going to tip, and she feels bad about you not tipping. Guess what? We're gonna fuck the food up.
So you don't feel bad about not tipping.
So you don't feel bad about not tipping. So you're spending time together, you're not tipping, but you're not eating either. So now let's go out and go. I mean, that right there was fulfilled. The energy, the intent of that situation was fulfilled by not tipping. And it was because, I mean, it seems superficial, but that's the power of the tongue. That's the power of intention. It all happened in that order. Okay, you didn't want to tip, you're not tipping. Because of this situation, the situation was dictated by what we said. Yeah. We did still spend time together, and we did go get some food from someplace else. Zippy's wasn't the intention.
Right.
And we went to someplace where we didn't have to tip. Anyway, you see what I mean? So it is how we speak, it is intention, and it is the I. And our ability to create has to be noticed all the time, because we're creating all of the time. That's just one way. And I'm blessed that I got a chance to share with Vanessa that moment, so that she can go over it in her head over and over again, so she can see what we said to create that situation.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it sounds like it definitely is something you guys manifested real time. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, I mean, I guess we can end it here, bro. I mean, I would just say it's a good point you make up about being more aware of it and being more in tune with it, because from what I understand, we're in a time now where that's going to just get faster. Like that ability to be able to speak something with true intention and see it happen faster. So this is just lock in, man. Lock in.
Lock in. All right, brother. Hey, I love you.
Love you too, bro.
Take care.
Appreciate you. And we'll do it again next week. Holla.
Yes.